can call me Dmitri for the sake of this interview.
Let's get it. I be getting up straight to the money. I'm getting that dope.
Craft, I would say it's anything that comes from your imagination that you were able to turn into a reality. And I mean, everything starts with an idea. A lot of people have ideas, but it's the craft. Are you able to execute that idea? Are you able to turn it into something real? And that's fine if you're not initially able to do something. You know, you shouldn't put yourself down if you're not able to execute that perfect craft. I think that's a struggle that a lot of us have, because we'll have an idea for something. I mean, I'll have an idea for a song that I'm trying to make, and once I try to bring it into real life, it just won't come out how I thought it would in my head, and that's fine. Everything starts with the idea. You gotta give it a million tries before you can execute the idea. I feel like you should never feel down because your song didn't end up working out. You should just move right on. Maybe revisualize it if you want, but you don't even have to. You just sculpt a new idea. I mean, that's how Steve Jobs functioned. That's how I'm pretty sure all of the people who have really created something throughout our history have functioned.
What was the response of your friends and family? How did they, when you started making music, how did they respond to it? Did they support you? Did they give you criticism? What was that like?
My mom tried to hide my equipment away at some points because I was getting behind in school. I always found it though, so
Right,
we never stopped.
how old were you when you started? In high school or middle school?
I was in middle school when I started, but I really started taking it seriously throughout high school. Actually, I wrote my first song. I would say I was about 7 years old when I wrote my first song, but it was more of a alternative type of song. I was just influenced by rock music always, by like rock songs that I would hear. I would hear a few of them through my friends, through their like Guitar Hero systems, because I didn't have my own at the time. And I had an uncle who put me onto Michael Jackson at the time. And after that, I would be always trying to like moonwalk and everything. So I feel like that's where I got some of that inspiration from. I didn't start anything until 8th grade because I didn't have any family doing music. I didn't know how to make a song. I didn't know you have to make this on a mic. I didn't know any of that. So it wasn't until later that I really just started asking people how you get into it. So then in 9th grade, freshman year, I told the same friends that we should get a mic and we should start doing this for real, but we should have some kind of message behind our songs. We should make something like poetic, because at that time I was really into Nas at that time. So I have all these phases. I'll be like super into someone at one point. Right now I just take influence from all of those people, from all the people from that time, and some of the new artists as well. But at the time I told my friends we should get a mic and we should start doing this ourselves. So I asked my mom to drive me to Best Buy and to pay for my mic. I told her I'd pay her back. I don't think I ever did pay her back, but so she bought me the mic, and I told my friends like, all right, just give me 1/3 of the cost. It was $100. For a few weeks they told me they would give it to me. They never did. That's how I kept the mic. That's how I feel like that's like a great like credibility to how I started, because I was forced to keep the mic.
Did you start on GarageBand?
It was on Audacity.
Audacity.
Okay. So I learned how to use that. I would have to one take the songs because I didn't even know how to like double track them or anything. So it's like in the song you could hear me like gasping for breath. Bought some new equipment. It's still the same equipment I have today. It was a Rode NT1A mic, and I've just been using that ever since. Now I just be recording songs right here.
So you learned how to produce your own beats, or did you use YouTube?
I use YouTube Beats at the time.
Did you ever get called out for it at school?
Nobody really knows. Like nobody knows when you use a YouTube beat or if it's an originally produced beat.
Were you known as the
the
rapper guy?
Yeah, it's because I was doing rap battles.
Oh really?
At school. That's how I started.
So you started freestyling?
Yeah.
How was that like?
It was kind of scary because like in a suburban school, whoever would be in the rap battles, like people would be surrounding like the whole audience, like everyone would be like gathered up around the two people rapping or whatever. I remember there were some other dudes that were like good, like they knew what they were doing.
And that continued into high school?
That was in high school.
That was in high
That
school.
was in high school. When I get up in front of people, it's like not really natural for me. I don't really feel like I'm in my habitat or anything like that. You know, it's like with me, it's like I'm thinking about all these people watching me right now. So it's like, am I gonna do? Will I look like a fool if I do this? Will I look like a fool if I dance along with the beat? Something like that. You know. That's why I prefer. I just prefer like being in the studio. But if I get the chance to go up in front of people, then that's something I would want to work on.
Did you ever think you were in the 8 Mile movie at any point?
A little bit, yeah. I would, yeah.
How would you describe your music?
I could go from anywhere from like the '60s and combine that kind of take that energy from like a '60s vibe and combine it with the energy of like a '90s vibe. So it'd be something like that. I could do modern stuff. I would want to infuse all of that with the modern sound because it's constantly evolving. I think in some way we do have to keep up with the trends if we want to see our music really succeed. But I think there's really no boundaries as far as your process.
Do you handwrite or
Yeah.
do you type it?
No, I handwrite.
You always handwrite.
Always handwrite, yeah.
Why is that?
This is a lot more, you know, when you're typing, it's like a million other things that you could be doing with your phone or your computer. When you handwrite, it's more natural, I would say. It's just, you know, you don't feel like you're attached to a screen. It's like time can just go by and go by. You won't really be distracted by whatever notification you're getting, anything of that sort. I wouldn't limit myself to just writing songs. I would be writing everything all over the place. I like writing stories and poems and everything, so I would always look forward to that.
What are the non-music influences that influence your music?
Non-music influences. Probably put Muhammad Ali in there. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X.
Why Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali?
Just the whole movement, the whole changed everything in America. I feel like it's something very Muhammad Ali for specifically because Muhammad Ali was a boxer, and with the influence he carried, he was able to really make a difference in our country without holding some type of like political position or anything of the sort. I believe that we make up the country, so it doesn't need to be necessarily somebody who holds power, somebody who holds some kind of position who can make a political difference in our world, because Muhammad Ali was able to shift all of our attitudes, which is something I hope I can do in the future.
Did you ever get political with your music?
I wouldn't say outright political. I would say more of a I would describe it as more of a Animal Farm type situation. So I don't think I'll ever like blatantly say anything. If I have something to say, I would disguise it.
Why would you disguise it?
It's just I don't want to be like forced into a category, anything of the sort. I would disguise it so that you could maybe if I were to disguise it, put it on a smaller scale, something that's more applicable to your life, as in metaphors, then I think I could appeal better to somebody than just going outright against someone or going outright political with it. It's either you're right or you're left. It's kind of like nobody is really even considering like the middle grounds anymore. I think it's just too much division between a left and the right, and it's always going to cause problems. And it's a lot of the scenarios are things that are created within our own cultures, within our own societies. I mean, we don't really need to argue as much as we do over things that are so blatantly visual, I would say. I mean, we have a lot of arguments over things like I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to give an example because I don't want to hold some type of perception, but like I feel like we're fighting just to fight each other.
Does music have a place in solving that conflict between the right and the left?
Absolutely. I mean, it's always been something. It's always been film. It's always been. I don't think we had too much political music in the early development of. I would say the break of American culture, where you had all the films and music coming in. I wouldn't say we had too much politics in that, but you could always see it through films, or you could always see it through writing, books, poetry, anything of that sort. You could always see some kind of political input. So I think nowadays, I mean, especially when when Motown came about, there was a lot of politics in music. You can hear it through Marvin Gaye, you can hear it through Stevie Wonder. that's something I think plays a very large part, because ultimately the government would be nothing without the people's opinions. America would be nothing without the people's opinions. So to have positive forces and positive light within entertainment is very important in directing people to think a certain way.
Thank you, Dmitri.
Of course, thank you for having me.
All right, that's a wrap.
All right.